If I tell you the wall behind you is black, and all your life you've looked at this wall and said it's white, and I say, no man, that's black. It could be black, it could also be green. That's going to have massive cognitive dissonance. And as human beings, we don't look internally and say, Mera problem is my problem, my own. No, we'll always externalize it. So, oh, I am stressed because my kids come and told me I'm homosexual.
Homosexuality is coming out of the closet in India like never before. A landmark judgment decriminalized homosexuality in 2018 and allowed individuals on the spectrum to love whoever they want to, but in a closed room. This nonetheless gave rise to a new wave of change. While change is good, what we don't know is if society is catching up. 3 years after the judgment, people from the community are still ostracized, forced to eke out an existence sometimes on the margins of society, and worse still, subjected to conversion therapy. The Madras High Court on 7th June 2021 passed a judgment banning conversion therapy on the LGBTQI community in India. This means all those practicing conversion therapy, be it doctors, professional psychologists, religious groups, or even Babas, will be held accountable for such illegal practices. The remarkable announcement came amidst the Pride Month that celebrates the lives and struggles of the community and gets the maximum attention throughout the year. A country with a population of 1.3 million people and a history going back thousands of years finds it extremely difficult to accept and accommodate the so-called minuscule fraction of a society in the 21st century. Who is to blame for this? A draconian law from the British era. An Anti-Buggery Act from 1533 which found its place in the Indian Penal Code as Section 377. After a lot of hardships, on 6th September 2018, the Indian Supreme Court ruled Section 377 as unconstitutional, which resulted in decriminalizing homosexuality in India. But is the LGBTQI community really free to live their lives? How difficult is it to be gay in India?
Hi, my name is Naveen Narona. I'm a writer, comedian based out of Bombay, and I am queer. I've had to live in hiding for way too long, which was also, I think I lost my precious gay years, my formative years to hiding behind the closet. But now that I'm out, I'm all out. There's no going back for me. Yeah.
Today, the LGBTQI community is unapologetic. They wish to take no more oppression and believe that banning conversion is a step towards a shackle-free life.
Sure. So my name is Aditya, and at the beginning, let me say that I identify as gay. The conversion therapy judgment is historic, primarily because on a personal level, it actually relates to some of my experiences. When I came out to my parents, thankfully, because they are scientifically minded, they did not turn to religion, because that is one of the ways parents try to deal with their child's sexual orientation, where they say, let me take you to a guru or a baba or a religious person who will show me the way, who will probably give me a prasad which will cure your homosexuality or similar. Thankfully, my parents did not take that route, but my parents did take the psychiatrist route. My parents went to a psychiatrist in the hope of converting me. My father wrote a long document where he described my case history, and I still remember it was a 1 page long document, and my father describes how I was an ideal student and how I was good at things and how I was nice to people. And the last line of the document was in all caps, which says, please help us get my son out of this. I think it speaks volumes about the desperation that my father experienced at that time, felt at that time, and he was reaching out to a medical professional to cure me in that sense.
Rishikesh is a non-binary transgender person who is currently working as a counselor for a trans clinic in the city of Pune. Rishi was trolled massively on social media for raising funds for their gender-affirming treatment.
So he's a psychologist slash hypnotist. So they took me to him, and then he was like, I'm gonna, talk to you alone. And then we talked, and he's like, your parents have brought me here because you have a problem, and I'm here to fix it. So I'm like, what sort of problem? I knew what this was about, but I was playing, very innocent, like, oh, I don't know what's this about. So he is like, I can, I can cure you. I'm like, what do you mean by cure? He's like, a lot of people, who are like you have come to me with their issues, and I have, cured them. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I use hypnotism, and I can make you believe that you are a cisgender, straight man. And he was like, I abused him actually because I was alone in the room. I threatened him. I told him I can mess up your entire life. I wasn't, as kind with my words as I am with you. Explain. I told him all of that because at 18, I had a lot of support from my community. I had a lot of journalist contacts. So I threatened him and I told him that conversion therapy in India is illegal. It wasn't illegal then. But I just threatened him and told him not to do it with others also. My friend, my best friend actually, he was almost set on fire in conversion therapy. He was taken to a Baba. He was made to sit on the ground. They drew a circle of petrol around him and they set that circle on fire and he's sitting inside this. Then, to add to this, they put a pumpkin on his head and they set the pumpkin on fire and they chopped the pumpkin into two with a machete on his head to cure him from being an effeminate gay man.
Conversion attempts have been traumatic for many. Some are subjected to corrective rapes, shock treatments, religious and superstitious attempts. But the very question is, why do parents go to such lengths?
Because still, India is still very backward in all this, especially from rural area. People think Babas can, once you go to take your child to Baba, and he'll be converted. So education is a key word, here. Well, I will say my journey towards acceptance was immediate. Like till yesterday he was my child, and today just because he said I belong to LGBTQ community, he doesn't change for me. For me, he's the same Harish.
One of the other major factors of understanding the regressive behavior towards the LGBTQI community is to understand the mentality of those ostracizing them. Mental health professional Ashna Mitra gives us details on the same.
And this is where because I've interacted with parents and I've spoken to parents, and what they tend to express is the fear of the unknown leads me to fear for my child's future. Which means when my child comes in and says, this is who I am, I worry that my child's not going to be able to live a happy, normal, peaceful life. Now, what they're not realizing is anybody needs to work at making their happy, peaceful whatever
normal life. Yeah.
So weather doesn't matter. Nobody's lives are normal. Not even the cisgendered heterosexual people out there. Okay. The challenge is going to be more, sure, but what parents don't realize is that the basic support system is the family system. So when they turn their backs on somebody like this, it's more than likely that they're going to experience even more isolation. And we know this pandemic has been proof to it. What does isolation do? It leads to mental health problems.
Amidst a global pandemic and mentally exhausting times, the Humsafar Trust has been a home for the community for the last 26 years. Ms. Shruta Rawat, research manager for the trust, tells us how.
During this time, the way the entire COVID situation hit us was like, we weren't prepared for it. I don't think anyone was. And the only way I feel Humsafar differed in its approach was we knew that we have to step in. And we didn't waste time. The first lot of fundraising that Humsafar did was from among staff. A lot of us contributed from our salaries for the first 1 month, 2 months before we raised a general call and started requesting for funding support from other places so that we could provide ration kits to people who are in distress, so that we could provide medical aid to people who are in distress, emergency support. And it's this time that makes you realize how vulnerable we are as a community and how ignored we are as a community, right? Like the migrants, you had images of them walking. What happened was definitely unfortunate. But conversations around how was COVID going to impact lives of LGBTQ, of transgender communities, of people in sex work was nowhere even, a discussion point. So what did Humsafar do was we raised funds, and over the last 1 year, We have reached out to over 40,000 people across India. We have provided them with essential, services like ration kits, a tiny bag of flour and rice and dal and oil and all of that. We've provided emergency medical aid to a lot of people. Within this 40,000, we've taken care of rents for people who couldn't, who lost their jobs because of the pandemic. We basically just pitched in whatever way we could.
Even when the community is fighting for its bare minimum, there are transgenders like Zoya Thomas Lobo who recently found fame as India's first transgender journalist. Zoya tells us how she feels about the same.
I feel very much proud, and I feel more happy also. I'm getting a recognition as a first transgender photojournalist. Till yet I've got as much as exposure I have got, but still somewhere I'm worried that am I going to get a job? Am I fitted for for an occupation, or still there will be a same situation of mine where again after getting so much of exposure and getting so much of fame and name and recognition, again I have to be back in that local trains to beg, or in those shops to beg, because I feel like where if I go back to that thing, people will say after getting you so much of fame you are back at that place, why and all, but they don't know the reason behind that.
While the heterosexual materialistic world fails to see the real story, the artistic world is always around for rescue. Ishan Zaveri, a closeted bisexual man, tells us how playing the handpan has been therapeutic for him and helped him in his journey of acceptance.
See, the handpan is a kind of instrument that's literally tuned at 440 Hz, which is a frequency of Mother Earth. And hence it's very therapeutic and meditative, healing too. When I started talking to people and I started understanding their stories, not because of what they represented, but of their past experiences, losing a family member, losing their favorite pet, losing a ton of money, making losses. But when you start hearing about love, when you start hearing about how they lost someone who they loved but weren't involved with, you realize that these are the kind of things that require healing. They require meditation, they require therapy.
While we celebrate one milestone in the LGBTQI history, we need to acknowledge the contribution of all those who helped us get here, and at the same time know that there is so much more to achieve. Anathema is omnipresent. We humans find it difficult to get over our own principles and ideas of living, but we have to. Coexistence is the way to survive on this planet for a better future.